They met with the CDI board and the city commissioners and decided to enter into a development agreement with Eastland and move into temporary manufacturing facilities on Hope Street. Those are temporary facilities which will start up very shortly for the manufacturing process. I've asked a lot of people, how did you get in here? Why are they here? First of all, how did you get in here? And we sold people several things, and they liked several things about Eastland. One was a great location midway between the Dallas-Fort Worth Metroplex and Windmill and Odessa. We have land for development that's been developed, has infrastructure in the business park and the airport. We've got a municipal airport with 5,000 square foot, about 5,000 foot long runway. They found that very interesting. They're going to use that runway quite a bit apparently. We have a state-of-the-art new terminal, which they also found very interesting. With the meeting room in that terminal, they can seat about 20 people around the board table, and they're going to have a lot of their meetings. They have been having meetings there, and they're going to have a lot more future meetings there. We have available facilities for corporate offices here in Eastland that suit their needs. We have higher education facilities around Eastland. They want to use those higher education facilities for training. The high school has AD programs. They're a strong believer in using young students, and they want to hire some of those AD students here in Eastland that they will nurture and take under their wing and certify them in high technology fields. They wanted, and the bottom line is, and this is what Jim told me, James told me, the chairman of the board, we want a place where we can grow with the community. We want a place where we can be part of the community, and you'll find these are going to be great neighbors. It's going to be a great cooperative location that will benefit this community and be an excellent company to have in this area. After about 40 years of doing economic development, and basically almost 10 years here in Eastland, I never dreamed that I'd be working in a high-tech facility in Eastland, Texas. High-tech is very special because they hire a certain level of people. They bring big dollars to the community, and we have it here in Eastland right now. They are here. So I'm very pleased with that. I asked Jim back originally when they came here, I said, Jim, can you tell me what a supercomputer is? I thought it was maybe a bigger laptop with a bigger screen or something, I didn't know. And so he took 45 minutes to tell me what a supercomputer was. He drew lines all across the sheet of paper and circles and triangles, and I said, and he looked and he said, now, you have any questions, Jerry? I said, yeah, tell me what a supercomputer is. So maybe at this point he'll be able to answer that for you in terms of you can understand, because this is really high-level stuff. I'll sit and lunch in some of the restaurants here in Eastland, and someone will walk up to me from the community that's one of the watchers of the community and say, Jerry, I hadn't seen anything happen with the supercomputer. I hadn't seen big trucks come rolling in the community. I hadn't seen any labor out there to deal with. So I went and I said, okay, well, so after about the 10th person who came up to me, updated me on the Eastland supercomputer, I finally went to James and said, James, I've got problems here. I got people who won't know what's going on. He said, Jerry, you have to understand, listen, we signed a development agreement in April this year. Yeah, absolutely. The facility flooded twice, and we had to put a new roof on the facility. It's been about a month and a half now since that roof got put up.
That's right. And we don't have the waterproof supercomputer yet, so we couldn't build
it. There you go. And he rinsed the equipment in the flood.
Absolutely.
So, but hopefully, I've assured him we're in a drought stage. We're not going to have that type of flood in the open anymore. So,
at least till next year, right?
Yeah, that's right. Okay. Next year. I want to introduce Dr. James Rubis. I count him as a friend. Everything he has told me, he has done. He has not asked this city for money except for what we proposed to him in our initial proposal. They were not looking to come to Eastland. I heard that they were coming to Eastland through an ally of ours. We sent them an unsolicited proposal. Jim came here, looked at the town, and loved it. I'll tell you, he really likes Eastland. So, once again, he's not asked for any money from us, except what we put in the proposal. So, that said, there's a lot of rumors going around that, oh, we're going to pay for this facility. That's not correct. So,
Yeah, no,
I'll turn this over.
Sure. I grew up in a small town, so I figure you better come with your own money or it's going to be a little more difficult. What I really want is the sort of the spirit of agreement in the community that you're willing to work with a company like us, allow us to be part of your community. The spirit of agreement in the community that you're willing to work with a company like us, allow us to be part of your community, and that's pretty much what drove me to Eastland. I'm a small town boy myself, and I love West Texas. It's great. I'm from California, and believe it or not, California has a lot of rural areas, and Eastland just fits the bill for me. Obviously, I've spent most of my career in the Dallas area and the telecommunications corridor, but I decided, hey, when it's time to do what I want to do, I was going to come out to a place that I wanted to be, and I also like the privacy, the fact that we can develop technology, and I can pretty much guarantee if you're not from town, we'll know it, and it'll be easy to find out if somebody's trying to get knowledge about our company. I'm sure the town will be able to tell me right away. So that being said, why don't we start, right? Good afternoon and welcome to the 2015 product launch of the AIO MBS All-in-One Managed Business Supercomputer. My name is Jim Rubis, and as a technologist, I have a passion for developing highly adaptive computing, storage, and network technologies, especially in the integration and communications technologies. Along with me here today is Scott Zitsch from Intel Corporation, and Scott will also be presenting in terms of our relationship with Intel and how Intel is part of the AIO MBS platform. I think we can begin with our first slide, which is, okay, so the real question is, what is supercomputing? Supercomputing is primarily multiple processors, multiple motherboards, multiple systems acting in concert together to perform multiple tasks. In large array supercomputers, our systems are put together to perform a particular single task, such as weather modeling, warfare modeling, things of that nature. The AIO MBS supercomputer is actually for business. So what it's built to do is it's built to do a lot of work for a company. So instead of a company saying, well, I want to just put all my resources to, say, doing weather modeling, a company says, well, I'd like to do this task. This is my point of sale system. This is my security management system. This is my intelligent customer relationship management platform. Well, the AIO MBS allows that to happen by virtualizing all of those application processes. The AIO MBS comes complete. Unlike other systems, the AIO has a network. It has storage. It has environmental cooling. It has processing modules. It has device modules. And all of these together form the all-in-one portion of the supercomputer. Traditionally with supercomputers, we have an issue of processor-based, and then we have another company that would say give us our networking, and other countries give us our fabric. And so it's very disjointed and it's very expensive. When you talk about supercomputing for a small business or business in general, most people don't realize that it's actually a possibility. Until a company like us decided to go ahead and integrate all the components into a single platform where everything knows everything and behaves like a single unit, it wasn't really possible to introduce the supercomputer or call it the business supercomputer. Now that we're doing that, we actually have this idea of the all-in-one business supercomputer that allows us to sell a single package, it's fully integrated, to businesses as small as 1 to 10 employees. Our storage portion of the business supercomputer is based on what we call solid-state drive technology. Traditionally, hard drives, I don't know if you're all familiar with the technology, but we store our information on computers, but we're really storing it on a hard drive. And these are mechanical devices, and they have ratings in terms of mean time before failure. And one of the biggest problems that we have isn't necessarily the computer itself, it's actually when our hard drive has a problem, or somebody modifies something on our hard drive. One of the things that I see that that drove me towards the solid state device technology was the speed of performance. Hard drives work in terms of milliseconds. Solid state drives work in terms of nanoseconds. Our relationship with Intel is allowing us to get advanced information and advanced technology in the SSD arena so that we'll be able to offer a completely solid state supercomputer. This is actually very important because today, if you were to move your supercomputer or to move your computer or drop your computer, you end up losing your information. With a solid state system, everything would be still intact. It would be like, well, it would be just like dropping memory. So the storage portion of the AIO-MBS is all based in SSD. It's very fast. It has quite a bit of built-in security technology such as SED, so that instead of relying on software to secure your information on your disk, the disk itself has hardware to do encryption and things like that, unbeknownst to the user. And that's really important because one of the problems that we see is that we're putting too much emphasis on the user becoming technical to use technology. I go in the other direction. I think, well, as far as we've gone with technology, as much knowledge as we have, and as much ability as we've created, you know, the user should just enjoy the process. I drive a car. I like my car. I love my car. I don't know how it works. I understand the physics. I'm a scientist. But I don't have to worry about it because I have a little key fob and I get in there and I press the button. It starts and it takes me around and I go. Computers should be the same way. Computers have gotten way too difficult. So with the AIO-MBS platform, we're trying to create this opportunity for business not to have to work hard to have the system, but to actually just use the system and go about their business. Networking. Unlike traditional networking platforms, the AIO-MBS uses what we call SDN, or software-defined networking. Because we have a lot of processing power, we can do a lot more advanced networking things, such as encryption, protection, forward passing, forward encryption, so that if you were to have an AIO-MBS at your location and you wanted to communicate with somebody over an unsecure network like the internet and they had one at their location, both systems could agree on a format to communicate. It was very unique, it was temporally sensitive or time sensitive, and those two devices could make a complete what we call a switched virtual link or a secure virtual link, and that would allow them to communicate. So no more having people snoop on your data, no more making permanent connections between systems. Today I'm working with my accountant. I'm going to make my books available to my accountant. I'm going to tell my AIO-MBS to make a switched virtual link or a secure virtual link to my accountant's system. And now we're passing data and it's great and we're done. So that's one of the neat things about networking technology in the AIO-MBS. The AIO-MBS is a complete network solution. You have Wi-Fi for the public side, so if you have guests coming over, the big movement these days is what they call BYOD, or bring your own device. What it really means is bring your own unsecured device so that you can go to the unsecured internet. And that's actually it's a good tool for a lot of people because you can bring your productivity with you. With the AIO-MBS, we have, excuse me, we have 3 different network technologies in the same system. So you have a public network technology, so that's your public Wi-Fi. You have your internal Wi-Fi, and those are 2 separate ones. And then you have what we call a secured Wi-Fi, and that allows your customers or your vendors to actually use that if they want to make a connection back to their facility. Excuse me. In addition to that, we also have fiber optic interfaces on the AIO-MBS so that we can connect to the global supercomputing grid that we'll be building. It's a little premature to talk about this, but at our facility at the technology complex here in Eastland, we will be building the Eastland Supercomputing Center. That will be a very massive project, and it will have a large supercomputer, and it will be part of our North American supercomputing grid technology. That will allow you to connect into it with every AIO-MBS. Because what we foresee in the future is, well, I'm working on my system, and it's tailored to my size of my employees, size of my business, but now I need to do some more advanced processing. I think I'm going to offload that to the grid. Unlike the internet, unlike cloud providers, this is actually, you're just asking for additional resources, which you can pay for those resources on demand. We call it ad hoc processing. and you actually increase the performance of your system to do those things. It's great for seasonal use. It's great for companies that find that, oh my gosh, I got an AIO MBS, I started using the internet, it's really taking off. I don't have enough AIO MBS to be able to support the growth I'm hitting right now. I'll go into the grid, and I'll use those resources as I'm ordering more modules or more nodes inside of my AIO MBS, which itself is a very scalable product. And what we talk about at Eastland Supercomputer is scalability is everything. You know, one of the things that has always bothered me is when you buy technology and you forklift upgrade it every couple of years, it's just real frustrating. I mean, you know, darn it, are the processors not good anymore? The truth is they're fine. If you can do asymmetric multiprocessing, and I don't want to go too far with this, but if you can build a supercomputer based on the notion that you can have different levels of processors and they can all work together, and let's just say the previous generation does this kind of work and the new generation does this other type of work, and they work in concert with each other, you really get to control the lifespan of your investment, what we call the element life of your investment. And I'm all about that because business is tough, and businesses need to be able to maximize all of their resources. They need to be able to maximize the return on their investments. And I look at the MBS platform as a great investment for them. It grows with them, you know, and honestly, we believe in our technology and our products so much that we are the only manufacturers that we're aware of that offer a 5-year full replace or repair guarantee. That's how much we stand behind the technology. Environmental management. I go on about networking forever because I'm really excited about our networking technology. But environmental management. Inside a data center, you have cooling, you have filtering. There's things like HEPA filtration and stuff like that. And what that does is it makes sure that you reduce the particles in the air, it makes sure that the temperature of the processors don't rise too high, that the equipment has a longer lifespan, because what we find is that heat tends to lower the lifespan of your technology. Inside of every AIO MBS is what we call a tech module, a thermoelectric cooling module using Van Peltier cooling, in addition to a fan module which we call convection-based cooling. And it allows us to actually decide when we use them. So with our sensing, our environmental management platform, we can sense, okay, the box is getting a little warmer. A lot of times that's just because of ambient temperature. You'll get a rise in ambient temperature, so you need to adjust. And obviously we don't ask the user to adjust, the system automatically adjusts it. So we're really big on sensing, and we're really big on environmental monitoring and management. So when we talk about that, we really talk about the fact that, wow, that's one of the aspects of the AIO MBS that makes it really, literally, your little data center in a box, right? Of course, it's a bigger box, but the point is, it's your entire environment. Power distribution. One of the differences between us and a lot of other companies, when they talk about power distribution, they mean a power strip or a surge protector. Our systems have built-in power. We use what we call Cridom SSRs and stuff like that. Basically, we have our own relay platforms, we have our own over voltage spike brownout protection. We have it all built into the system. You can adapt to that by adding additional modules like a UPS module if you want to keep it up, what we call a Gen Tech module, which has a transfer switch to allow is that you can control your power. One of the greatest aspects of our security platform, and this is one of them, is that if for some reason a system is compromised, for any reason, I can override it and shut it off. There is no hacker in the world that can hack a computer that's turned off. Okay, when the power is off, it's, you know, the game's over. So in all of our PDUs, or we're calling them electrical distribution units, our EDU modules within the AIO, it gives us the ability to control power. So we can turn it off remotely. We can, you know, get constant logs and monitoring of what your power conditions are, and that helps us to proactively from Eastland, which is where obviously the monitoring system will be. It'll allow our representatives from Eastland to call you and say, hey, look, you know, you look like you're having some power issues. Well, how do you know that? Well, I'm getting a lot of logs. Your system's getting older voltage, your system's getting brownouts, surges, whatever, and we're doing a lot of work on our EDU to make sure that your system is stable, but we think you should maybe invest in a UPS or something like that. So I like that whole proactive approach. You know, I always get frustrated when you have technical issues and you call for help and they don't even know who you are. Oh, what machine is that? Who are you? In our system, when you call, we know who you are. As a matter of fact, we probably know who you are because we called you and said, look, here we're waiting to chat with you. Right? We're seeing some issues, and we'd like some of your time. Very proactive approach to it, which is one of the reasons I really love Eastland. Eastland has great people, very friendly people. West Texas has a lot of friendly people, and I myself would love to hear that person on the phone when I'm a little stressed. You know, hey, how can I help you, sir? So, I guess it's time to turn it over to my good friend. But inside of every AIOMBS is, of course, Intel. Intel is, well, frankly, they're the best high technology firm in the world, and we're proud that we use the Xeon technology within our AIOMBS. So, without further ado, Scott.
Jim, thanks for the introduction and all the great work that you guys are doing. We're super happy to be working with you guys and the entire team. If you, like a lot of the stuff Jim always says, flies right over me too. And being from a high technology company and at Intel for 25 years, I'm glad to have a partner like them who can turn the magic and the bits and the semiconductors and all the technologies that they bring to market into solutions that are solving business problems out in the marketplace. Before I get into some of the Intel technologies that I want to talk a little bit about today, I wanted to really talk about the opportunity. Part of the reason for this growth is that there is growth in the marketplace happening. And over the next 5 years, certainly across the globe and certainly here in the United States, the business opportunity for servers and supercomputers is very large. Some of the numbers are almost astronomical. One of the things that we have noticed over probably the last 25 years that we've been selling and creating solutions for the server and supercomputing marketplace is that as the internet craze has taken over, probably around 75% of small businesses have some kind of information technology spend. Part of what that also means is that 25% still has yet to come over. That's a large number. The second piece I would say is that of the 75% that have done deployments already today, they are ready for a refresh. So the opportunity over the next 5 years is big. And I hope, Jim, that you guys have kind of undercalled what you guys think you'll need in terms of facilities, because I do think if we work together well like we are, it's not endless, but the opportunity is very large out there. Next slide. So a few of the things that are really important as we work with Eastland Supercomputer and their team is to really identify the things that small businesses are really looking for and how can we solve really business problems out there. Some of the things that they're looking for out there for sure is productivity, security, reliability, performance. Those are really the key vectors that we look at. And you might say, well, why is Intel looking at those vectors? Well, as Jim mentioned, part of the brains of their solutions are Intel microprocessors, and of course, that's where Intel got our start. But with that, we focus a lot of our technologies on these 4 vectors, so as he creates his solutions for the end customers, everything clicks, everything's magic, and it becomes very easy to purchase these systems. Thankfully, Jim and his team are doing all the hard work to make this easy, because if you're a small business owner, you have lots of hats you're wearing, lots of issues you have to focus on. Usually the last thing you want to worry about is my computer running? Is it secure? Are my employees productive? Because I'm paying them either a salary or some kind of wage. I want to make sure that they're productive. And then the other piece, which we hear a lot about in the press, revolves around security. And as much as people want to not have to worry about it, we get a credit card and we hope that if somebody has a fraudulent activity on it, that somebody else will help us out with it, whether it's Visa or MasterCard. Well, when you have your computer data and your customer sensitive information on your computer, you want to make sure that it's secure. So all of these things are things that when Intel develops a microprocessor and we start to talk to Jim about what their future products could be based on, we think about it from this standpoint. So if you go to the next slide, we'll keep on peeling this back a little bit. So with that, as we look at, hey, I want to accelerate my business, I want to move faster, I want to grow, every small business to some extent is looking to that if they have aspirations for those ideas over the next 5 years. But with that, we've built in technology that allow for, we have some Intel technologies that are up here, multi-threading, hyper-threading, all kinds of performance-related things that allows the computer to go faster so that as the companies grow, the processors can go faster, etc. There's also protect my business. It goes back to security things. And it's not just at the software layer. We're allowing the hardware and the transistors in each of the microprocessors to do some things at a security level, to encrypt things, to decrypt them, to allow the data to be as secure as possible. And in essence, again, we're creating the microprocessors, thinking about the end customer in mind, so that as Jim and his team create the solution, they can roll out, they can solve business problems, and those businesses can grow and focus on the stuff that they care about. Next slide. So a couple of microprocessors that I'll talk about that Jim and his team are working on as part of their solutions. The first one is what we call, and is the heart of all of our servers and supercomputer systems, and that's called the Xeon E3 processor. But we have things in there like high cache levels, multiple cores, high frequencies. We validate these with server operating systems. We test the microprocessors so that they can run 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, 365 days a year times many, many years, so that the reliability and the durability of the systems can handle it. The other thing is that we also offer a lot of SKUs, so depending on the size of the business, you may buy one configuration today, and as your business grows, you can deploy maybe a different SKU, a higher performing SKU down the road. So the Xeon processor family is very scalable. As a matter of fact, on the next slide, the next generation product that's even higher performing than the E3 is the E5. And this has over 4 times the performance of the processor from the prior slide. It has even more capability in terms of memory configurations and ECC and capabilities that you can have at the platform level. So no matter what size of business Jim wants to build a solution for, we've got a microprocessor solution for them. I think the great news about Intel microprocessors, especially in this space, is that a very large percentage, majority of companies that deploy this kind of technology deploy with Intel. So we're very glad to have Jim and the Eastland supercomputing team working with us and deploying and working with these technologies. We think the combination together is a great team. If you hit to the next slide. So with that, again, we think smart solutions and smart investments will come through the solutions that Jim and his team are bringing to marketplace. Having a local server with your data that is secure on a network that's high performance and is scalable can be a great solution for businesses in the marketplace today and as we go forward over the next 5 years. So Jim, thanks for having us.
Thank you.
We look forward to working with you guys, and appreciate you guys having us here in Eastland, Texas today.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Okay, we're not through yet. Well, there's been a lot of discussion about where are these things getting built, where is the AIO getting built. It's getting built here in Eastland, but I want to show you the system that we've built so far here in Texas. It's the initial prototype. It's what we call our beta prototype, and I want to take this opportunity to let you know that Eastland does get the sneak peek. It's kind of interesting today because I look at the audience and I'm really proud of the attendance that we have. It's like, I know these are our people. And I think in the future, I think 6, 7, 8 months out, when people realize, wow, the sneak peek happens here, right? And everybody's going to want to show up and, oh, it's like the 49er faithful in California. Well, there weren't a lot of people in the stands back then, kind of like right now. But this is our core group, and I promise when people get wind of the sneak peek, we'll always make sure that you have a seat here, for sure, the closest to us so that you can see it. Would you roll the video? I'll do a little narration on the video too, if I can. Okay, this is Texas. Look at the hats and the sunglasses on the hats. That is a Texas thing, I'll tell you. This is taking the metal from raw stock. We use various types of sheet metal. We use sheet metal, we use aluminum, depending on what we're doing. We do our own milling for our tech, things like that, because to give you the best bang for your buck, so to speak, we kind of have to do all of it. It's very expensive to buy things from other people, and we've decided that this product is going to be made in the United States. One of the things that we kind of chuckle about right now, well, it's designed in California, but for heaven's sakes, it's made in the great state of Texas, and that's the way it is. Everything will be built here in Texas. As we put up our facility at the business park, all of the trades will come here. We'll have metal, paint, milling, all those kind of things. And we'll be employing people from Eastland County, the Microplex, and I love the Microplex concept. That's great. I love the Metroplex for the Microplex. Next one, please. So I wanted you to see this because I want you to know that, hey, we really are building it here, even though you didn't see us in the parking lot, or, you know, I do love the gas prices here. Even though you don't see us yet, and we've had some delays, and those delays were, you know, based on environment and things like that. Most everything is all cleared up for us now, and we're already starting construction in our current facility to begin putting up the AIO MBS within a month and a half. So, you know, the next time I see you folks, I'll be showing you videos of us working here instead of just in Texas. This is the prototype. I wanted to show you a one-step through, so you get the basic idea of the amount of things that have to happen to build this system. And this is just actually our chassis, but you can see how it goes from just, you know, shearing raw metal to, you know, at this point we'll be taking the raw metal over to what they call a turret punch, and we'll be putting in some of the various shapes on it. Can you go a little forward with this? So this is a turret punch, and it's actually it's automated. It's what they call a computer numerical controlled turret punch. And what it does is we pre-program in all of the shapes that we'll need on the metal, and we run them through. Because this was a single sheet, and because we wanted to sort of give you an idea what it takes even to just make the chassis, and the fact that we're making the chassis here in the United States, actually in the great state of Texas. We didn't show you the other automation, which is there is a computer that actually grabs the sheets of metal and throws them in, and it's all an automated process. Next. Here you go. So here's the metal in a different state. We talk about what we call our modules, or our nodes within the supercomputer. We actually have various containers within the AIO MBS, and each of those containers holds different types of electronics, or what we call printed circuit boards. What that does is it gives us separation, it reduces the amount of electromagnetic interference, it also makes it very difficult to snoop on our equipment. We don't emit very much. As a matter of fact, we spend a lot of time and effort to reduce our what we call our signature, or our footprint. Get some more. Here we are. This is a CNC press, and it's manual. It looks manual, but actually these are all pre-programmed in. You move the metal in, it moves fast. And you basically have an idea of what we'll be bringing here to Eastland. This type of equipment, you know, this type of work. And here, this is what we call a row module. So what you have is the various boxes and the built-in AC platform and cable chaseway tied up into these boxes here. And together they all form into a single unit, and that's how we're allowed to grow for the AIO MBS platform. So we actually grow in increments of 10 inches. So we have a 34-inch platform. It has everything integrated, and whenever you want additional modules, we grow another 10 inches, another 10 inches. So it's a very interesting platform, and the scalability is just phenomenal. All right, thank you very much. Can you raise the lights? This is a supercomputer, believe it or not. Very small. Very small, it fits on your wall, doesn't take up much of a footprint, but this is actually a very fast, very high-speed supercomputer. It has all the modules in it. It's called the AIO. The AIO is all in one because everything's there. The network, the storage, the processing, the cooling, the power distribution, all those things are there. And in a very small footprint, because this is the face of supercomputing. This is the face of modern supercomputing. This is how you can run a beauty salon and have a supercomputer, right? I have a beauty salon, I have a supercomputer, and I love being on the internet. I love doing business on the internet, and I know I'm safe. It manages all my security. It manages everything, because the performance of the system is tremendous. And Like I said, this is the beta prototype. You will be the only people ever to see this beta prototype. When we give our national presentation in Dallas, they will not get to see this. I want you to see what we're doing as a community here. I want you to see every one of our first beta prototypes for every model we have. And I want to share that experience with you because I appreciate you bringing me into your community. And I appreciate you letting me be part of it. And, you know, I'll do my part. At least I'll show you the beta, right? And I think together we're going to make, well, we're going to have a great friendship and we're going to do good things together. Thank you very much.
Okay, don't beat them up too much. Any questions?
No, I'm doing my best. I'm trying to actually get better in answering questions without rambling on. So yes, go ahead.
Is there a built-in redundancy with this, or is it going to come back to your facilities here for redundancy?
Yeah, so one of the great things about supercomputing is that unlike, say, server technology, where you have what we call a monolithic operating system, supercomputing has a shared operating system. So if I was to say have three, for lack of a better term, three computer modules, three motherboards, right? With traditional server technology, each one of those motherboards has an operating system. And so when we shoot for redundancy, we say, okay, I'm gonna create what we call a high availability system. And I'm gonna take this operating system and I'm gonna copy it over here to this operating system, and they're gonna be the same. And I'm gonna run off this, and if this fails, right, this is gonna take over. Well, that requires a lot of work, and you know, frankly, it's a practical solution for a lot of people. But in supercomputing terminology, in supercomputing architecture, all of those systems are highly adaptive. Any one of those platforms could take all the work or some of the work. So a good example of the AIO MBS, we have what we call P nodes, or processing modules. You have 4 processing modules in the 100 series. Any of those 4 processing modules can do all the work while the others are asleep. Or if one fails, 2 of the others could do it and 1 could be in reserve. Or they could all 4 be doing it. If one fails, well, you only have 3 doing it. If another fails, well, you only have 2 doing it. And if another fails, well, we'd have been there already replacing it, but you'd have 1 left, right? So that's one of the beautiful aspects of a supercomputing architecture. We don't have a monolithic structure. I don't have an operating system that runs on each processor. I have an operating system called Copenhagen, and we use something called the Logical Link Framework, and that allows us to use processors in a much more different way. It's just a technology that works, right? It's a processor, it does work. If I have an operating system and I want to send it to some work to it, I send it to it. If that work is called be a Mac, or if that work is called be a Linux machine, it does that. And when I don't need it to do that anymore, I can say, all right, slip that out, right? So yes, to answer your question, redundancy is built in, but it's not like traditional server redundancy where we have like what we call N+1 or N-way processing, where I need 2 systems, so I get 3. If one fails, the other one kind of fails over, and we call what they call HBA platforms. And that's also very difficult to manage because you have to have a heartbeat, you have to have a constant communication between them of, are you currently synced up with the latest data? Things like that. We are based on what's called a highly adaptive distributed data flow architecture, and everything we do is based on data flows. It's a supercomputer, and it's really advanced, and it really simplifies that process. In addition, we have host operating systems that we can put on it, such as Microsoft, Macintosh. We like the Macintosh these days, Mac OS, because it's Unix, but Linux is everybody's friend. That's a great operating system. It's pretty low footprint, and it runs really well with us too.
Next question.
Sorry.
That's all right.
He must be a technical person, because I can just go on with that one. Yeah.
And we'll have a test on that after. Go ahead, Brian.
I was just going to ask, for people that might not know, what is the interface? How do you interface this? In easy to understand terms, do you hook up a monitor and a keyboard to it, or do you go through the network? Or?
Yeah, so it's a supercomputer. Supercomputers are headless. We don't have it's not like a server. It's not like a laptop. Think of it as a back office data center. That's what a supercomputer is. These supercomputers obviously are in a smaller form factor, so that we can give you an entire back office in a very small footprint. So yeah, there's no interfacing with it. You know, as a matter of fact, you turn it on, you put it on the grid, you tell the system what type of back-end applications you want to run, and you run it. It's not like it's your desktop, it's your back office. So a good example is perhaps you want to run a web server. You would slip up an an operating system of your choice, and then we would put the platform as a service. All of our AIO MBS are complete cloud servers. And I'll just give you a short answer for that. Cloud servers are basically infrastructure as a service, platform as a service, and software as a service. The hardware aspect of it is infrastructure as a service, which we offer. We also have packages that run on it, and they're known as platform as a service. So let's say that I wanted to make a website. Well, I need a web server to do that. Well, depending on the sophistication of my website, I might need a bunch of functionality. I might need server-side stuff. I might need PHP. I might need SQL, things like that to be able to do work. We have built-in platforms that you can basically have instantiate on the supercomputer, and all of a sudden you have Ruby on Rails, or you have a, e-commerce mail service platform, or you have an e-commerce web service platform. That's all really simple stuff for a supercomputer, and the reason that we're fully managed is that we take all the pain out of that. We let you focus. If you really do make good websites, we let you focus on making the website, not on making sure the infrastructure is running or making sure that the web platform is running. I want to write websites. I assumed that my PHP was running. I assumed that Magic or GD Image or whatever that I want to use is running. I assume the SQL connectors are running. As a matter of fact, I assume that they're all secure. And that's what we give you with the AIO-MBS. Fully managed. Sorry.
Next question. Sorry. Any other questions?
When are they going to be available?
Yeah, so that's a great question. I look
I
at
want
our...
one on my wall.
Got your first customer.
There you go, exactly. Yes. Well, we have a ramp. For the next 2 months, we'll be serving some of our pre-release. There will be some additional releases. As a matter of fact, the CEO of the company that bought the first 1,000 is actually here. His name's Bernie Washington. He's in the back here. They actually have the solution. As exciting as it is to actually sell the solution, we just make the platform. We make the hardware. And it's companies like One Smart Office that actually take the platform and create a package, a solution, and sell that to consumers.
So, 3 months?
So 2 months. 2 months is the initial ramp. And then we'll really be able to ramp much stronger in January when we begin construction of the technology campus at the business park here in Eastland. We need size to grow. We do have some offloading for about 1,000 systems a month, which is a pretty small number. But we can currently, within our current agreement, is we can just build within about 1,000 systems a month.
Next question?
A few years ago, a lot of people went from the standard hard drive, spinning hard drive, to these solid-state hard drives.
Yeah, from mechanical to solid state, correct?
Right, and at the time, it was about 100 times faster to use a solid-state drive. Is it still that same ratio, or is it faster than that?
Can we talk about that yet? Great question, and our partnership with Intel is making it possible for us to go to the next level.
Yeah, the interesting part of the solid-state drives right now is that the performance has stayed incredibly high. The durability has continued to increase as well. I think one of the things that we continue to work with in this space, though, is that a lot of the bus technology that transfers the data to and from the solid-state drive is actually where the bottleneck is now. That's the thing that is slowing down the performance of the platform. So a SATA interface might be something you would use today. Well, that's like trying to take water out of a lake with a straw with today's technology, which is actually a lot faster than a mechanical drive. As we get into even future technologies, and actually we just announced some this week at the Intel Developers Forum, it's going to get another almost 1,000 times faster than going from mechanical drives to solid state. Now we're going from solid state to a new memory technology that will come out early next year. That'll be another almost exponential boost in performance. higher durability, higher densities. But with that, that will come out when you have, by utilizing a different bus on the PC or on the server or the supercomputer, where the straw gets much wider, so that now all that performance can actually be had. So maybe short answer is yes.
One more question, then we'll leave here and go straight to the roof garden at the Conley. And these folks will be around, some of their suppliers, some of their partners will be around at lunch, so you feel they're going to sit around the room, so feel free to ask some additional questions. One more question. Okay?
They're hungry.
You're hungry?
Excellent.
Jim, thank you very much.
Thank you.
Appreciate you coming in.